Alright, and I'm live. And I had the idea, I was on somebody else's live stream before, and they mentioned, I was on a karaoke live stream, and they mentioned how they liked the fact that I gave some help, some self-defense advice for this was a woman. And I passed on some tips how you can defend yourself in a place you're not allowed to carry firearms in public. And I just passed on some simple, nothing fancy, just some simple, no nonsense ways that you can defend yourself if you live in a place where you're not allowed to carry a firearm. And when this person mentioned that when I was in the live stream with them, I thought, why not make a video, talk about this a little bit more? If that's something that some people value and they think it was useful, what I said in the live stream, talk about how you can defend yourself. If that's something that at least one person thought was helpful, then why not expand on that a little bit more and make some more content along those lines? And maybe do it a little bit more, I'll do it a little bit more helpful. It's one thing I can say things, just advice like this. Here's something you can do to protect yourself. And it's just words. It can be helpful if I show some things, like using my body, showing like how to use certain things. And what's it called? Demonstrate a little bit more and not just say it verbally. So I'm going to do that. This is going to be a no-nonsense, simple and useful self-defense tutorial type video, sharing my thoughts on ways that you can defend yourself as a total individual or a woman or anybody else for that matter, even for men. Some things that you can use to defend yourself. If you're in a woman situation, there are some things that it's going to be useful for you to know in case you don't. And I'm sure that some of the things that I will talk about in this video will be things that you haven't thought about. Now, if you're a martial artist, you've been practicing martial arts and you've been watching videos for many years about self-defense and things like this, then possibly you've already thought about some of the things I'm talking about. We'll talk about in this video. But in case you don't, there's gonna be some useful stuff in here. Gonna roll a cigarette. I'm not gonna put pressure on myself to do this quickly, like 30 minutes or something. I'm just gonna real raw, in the moment, live on the internet, which is a little bit high stakes because there is a chance that I could get injured depending on what I do in this video. But let's get going with this. Go roll the cigarette first, have some coffee, get a little bit more energy before I start moving around. Yeah, so like I said, I was on a live stream earlier tonight, a karaoke live stream, and the woman who hosted the live stream said she appreciated how I passed on some self-defense advice, things she hadn't thought about. So she lives in the UK, this person, and in the UK guns aren't legal. So if you live in America, the simple self-defense advice is get a gun, carry it in your purse or pocket, and take classes how to shoot. That's the simple advice. But for people who live in places like the UK or Sweden, or in a state we're not allowed to have a covert carry, like maybe New York, I think they can't have guns there in America. My intention of this video is to expound on some of the things that I talked about before, like ideas how you can protect yourself. Hello, Addicted to Blades 2, John. This is one of my YouTube buddies, you could say. We haven't collaborated together, so we haven't made live streams, I think, together, but it's somebody I like to watch because he makes content that's right up my alley, as to say. Things I'm interested in. He makes videos cutting and practicing with weapons. Also, not guns, but bladed weapons. And since I'm in Sweden, I'm not allowed to own a firearm, so there's more of a focus on bladed weapons and things like this. I'm into that. Now, if I lived in America, I would get a gun, but I would still practice with things like batons, sticks, knives, so on and so forth. So if you're interested in that type of stuff, if you like the content that I make sometimes, cutting things, doing martial arts, hitting things, cutting things, then I'm sure that you will like this guy's YouTube channel too, because he makes the same type of content as me. So that's the shout out to John, the promotion of his channel. Since he's been supportive to me, I'll do some things to support your back. And he actually, I have a video on my channel where I tried having a paper and then like letting it go and cutting it with a knife and trying to cut off a piece of paper. And I never tried this before on my YouTube channel. So I got the idea from John actually. Sometimes I have people copy me and they don't give credit. When I heard me, I say something on my license, then later on I see somebody else make a video. And some of the guys doing that, they make it look like they had the idea themselves. So I'm not going to try to be like these people. So since I got the idea from watching this guy's videos, John, seeing him with a sword, having a paper and then cutting with a sword, I got inspired. I want to try that too. And I don't have a sword, so I tried it with knives. So yeah, that's where I got the idea. You're welcome. And the lighting is a little bit suboptimal. I can see now it's a little bit dark, but I think it should be enough. Like I have a light here. If I get this close, I have good lighting. But when you're a little bit further away, it becomes dark. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull off this lamp cover I have. I have a thing with strong lights. I don't like strong lights. So when I make videos, a lot of times I will have a filter over my light bulb that I use for videos. But in videos like this, it's more useful that you have good lighting if you're going to show things to people. You're a bit off the camera, a little bit away from it. It's useful to have good lighting. So I sacrifice my comfort for you. Joke. It's not a big deal. But if I sit there and I'm making marathon live stream for 6 hours, then I will have the filter on, and then the video quality will be a little bit worse because it's dark in the room. Yeah, so let's think about it. I didn't plan this out, what I'm going to do. Some rough things. I did some light prep work. I got some things and put it on a cardboard box here that I might use in this video. And it's going to be a video about passing on some ideas how you can defend yourself in places where you can't have a firearm. And this is can be useful for women, it can be useful for tall individuals, it can be useful for men too. And like I said, somebody like John, he probably already thought about all this stuff, so he might not be that, people like him might not need this. It's like, I thought about that. But there's a lot of people that don't have a special interest in martial arts and think about it, watch videos and practice things like this. So this be like the level 1, some thoughts that you might have thought about. So let's get started. And what I have this salt bag here, and I'm not going to go too hard on this because I've used this for practicing punches before. And when I start hitting it, there's a black powder flying out of it because this is garden salt. I didn't do it yourself punching bag, and I used garden salt that I bought at the local grocery store, like a 5-10 kilo bag, whatever it was. And I put it inside multiple bags, and for a while it was holding up. But eventually, whacking this with batons and my fists and elbows and stuff, something has broken. So when I hit this, it's like a puff, black powder flying out of it. That's a garden salt. That's been dried out. So I'm gonna go easy on it. And possibly I should get you know what I'll do? I get my training mask on, so I don't have to breathe in this garden salt when I'm practicing. This is my Miltech balaclava, tactical I think it's called. And I bought it from a Swedish store, and this is one of my favorite items, one of my favorite clothing items. Now I make a video about how to defend yourself, and I'm looking like the bad guy because usually the guy you will defend yourself against is the guy who looks like this if you're outside and get attacked. So this would be the good snake and the bad snake. I'm looking like the the guy you might have to protect yourself against while I'm teaching you how to protect yourself. Yeah, so this is not for the any viruses or anything. That's not why I have this on my videos. This helps me. I have asthma and allergies. So sometimes if I start practicing, you always have a little bit of dust in the room. No matter if you have air purifiers like I do, there's always going to be some dust. Like I bought air purifiers and I got a whole thing and I clean and stuff. And you think it's clean. And then sometimes in the morning, you have like a ray of light comes through the window and you see all these specks of dust flowing through the air. There's always some dust in there. And when you start exercising, you get deeper breaths. Like normally you have some shallow breathing, more shallow, and then when you start moving your body and you get winded, your body goes automatically into taking deeper breaths, like this. And if there's dust, you have allergies and asthma, then you're gonna get this into your lungs. You might get an asthma attack, and that's not you flap around like a fish having seizures. It sounds dramatic. Asthma attack it just means that it triggers your asthma, and you might get shortness of breath, so you get out of breath and tired quicker than you would normally. So yeah, I'll have this on. And I like this. This is a good item. I can recommend it to people. Thank you. I can recommend this. It's called, if you want to get this, it's called Miltech Balaclava. I think you can find it. They might have it on Amazon. And this is cheap. I think it costs less than 300 Swedish crowns. It would be $30 approximately. And it's a full balaclava. It's very hard. It's made from ballistic fiber, the same type of fiber used in body armor, soft body armor. And this is something that firefighters, the type of thing the firefighters wear on their helmet, or race car drivers will wear these too. And they're fire protected. So if you're in a fire and you have this on, it will protect your skin from getting burnt. Now it is very warm. It's very warm. And that's one of the reasons I like it. It keeps my neck warm. Which also has with asthma. If you have a tank top on and it's cold in the room, I open the window working out, it's going to cool my neck and I'm going to have an asthma attack from that. So this is a good item for my asthma, my allergies. And it also is something that you can use. Like if I'm outside walking, I get attacked and I have the time to, I would pull this. A lot of times I would have like this, like a scarf to warm my neck. But if I know I'm being attacked, I would pull this up because it protects against scratches. And possibly if somebody has a knife or a glass bottle or something, it could be enough to protect, not from stabs necessarily, but from slashes, attacking like this with something sharp. That can, it could be enough. It's not multiple layers like a Kevlar shirt that has many layers glued together. This is just one layer, but it's still enough. It says when you buy the item that it protects against scratches. So I guess if somebody nails and attack you like a tiger or a bear, use their hands like this. And they have some martial arts where they actually practice things like this, like attacking with your hands like this instead of like this, which is not something that I do myself. But yeah, so it's a good item to have. It's pretty cheap. So let's get to it. Some things you can have in a place you're not allowed to carry firearms or even knives, like in Sweden. In Sweden, I'm not even allowed to carry a knife on me concealed in public. So this is something that might be useful if you live in Sweden and you're thinking about ways to protect yourself. Of course, it's going to be good for you if you take martial arts practice classes, you train Muay Thai or boxing or wrestling or something like this. That's good because you will always have your body, the weapon. Your body is a weapon. Just like anything else, you need to take driver's license, learn how to drive a car, how to maneuver it around to be effective at maneuvering a vehicle. You can look at it like that. You live inside your body. It's a vehicle. You use it to transport yourself from place to place, and your body has the potential to be a weapon. So that's the one weapon that you can bring with you anywhere. They will never be able to outlaw you having your body. At least I hope so. With the way the society is going now, with gun control and stuff, I would be surprised they make it illegal to carry arms, these type of arms. So you have to, like, I don't know, government will say you have to amputate your arms because they could be used as a lethal weapon. That's a goofy joke, but you get what I'm saying. I don't put anything past. These are gloves. So let's say you live in the UK or Sweden. This is something that I do recommend. These are not knife proof, but something that is legal in a lot of places where knives are not legal and batons and pepper spray, whatever, in public. Something that is legal in a lot of places are knives. Knife protected gloves, like Kevlar gloves or gloves that are protected against knives, so that you can, like butcher's gloves, so you can like grip onto a knife's blade and it's not going to cut through. Like I said, these are not those type of gloves, but for demonstration purposes, if you get one of those, that would be a good thing to have in defense. If you get attacked with a knife and you want to protect yourself against incoming things, that can be a big difference. A lot of times defensive wounds, if you get attacked with something sharp, a weapon, a lot of times people get defensive wounds on their hands or their forearms because the natural defensive moves of the body is to do something like this. If somebody comes at you with something sharp, you to put your hands up and try to kind of push off and catch the thing and create distance and push off from the thing that's attacking you. Those are natural human reflexes and actions when attacked with something. A lot of times the arms will go up in one way or another, and then people who train fighting have trained more to have like this instead of like this, because this is your vulnerable side. You have it's very easy to cut into my blood vessels at this side of my arm. So Mike Tyson has a quote that the human bodies were not made to fight each other. So you have to train yourself to be able to fight. It doesn't come naturally. Like some things come naturally. A lot of people in fights who never train anything, they might start flailing their arms into like a windmill like this, for example. I actually had somebody attack me like that when I was younger. And they started flailing their arms kind of like a windmill, and it was very easy for me to block it. It's just this, and nothing was landing. And the guy was doing this. I'm serious. And it was just a matter of doing this, and it's all coming from one direction. Now, if you would have done that and then switch and gone like this, maybe would have caught me. But yeah, so a lot of times the natural way of doing things is not the best way. You have to train yourself. It's like what feels like the right thing to do, what happens naturally, it's not always the right way. Then you have to modify things. So if you have the natural reaction, if someone comes out with a knife towards like this to go like this, you might have to modify that to go at least like this. And just that little change makes you better. Like instead of this, it's like, oh, here's the place to cut where I will bleed a lot. Just turn around like this. And you have this here. So yeah, let's do this. So that's the first tip. Invest in knife-proof gloves. That can be very important. That can be very important. Like for example, let's say somebody has a bottle. I'm outside. It's late at night. I'm on my way home. Somebody has a bottle, and they crack it or somebody come at me. Now, if they do this, for example, I might be able to do this. So I would rather catch it here than have it hit me in the face or something. Now that's not always, I wouldn't like say, try to catch the sharp thing coming at you with your palm. But it's something that might happen. If you're defending yourself against somebody attack with a knife or so, anything sharp, then a lot of times you might end up getting cut even if you're not trying to catch the thing with your hands. You might end up getting cut in your hands. Now for example, if somebody has a knife and they're doing this, stabbing towards me, my natural instinct might be to go like this, the windshield wiper, like this. So if it's coming at me like this, and I might want to hit down at it, and I might end up getting cut here. And the difference of having knife-proof gloves would be I'm able to push the knife off and I don't get cut in the hand. Now getting cut in the hand, if you do that, somebody stabs you fast enough, then you have the windshield wiper defense. So if it's coming for the torso, like this, and the windshield wiper comes, say blade up, and I do this, and it goes down, and I don't get hit. It's better if I have a wound on my hand than this going into my abdomen. It's like I'd rather take a cut to my hand than a stab to my gut. So that's a very like simple thing that is worth investing in. They don't usually in countries, they don't allow certain things like guns. They do allow the defense against the gun. So in Sweden I can't own a firearm, I can't conceal carry legally in public, but it's not illegal to have the defense thing against guns, a plate carrier. So that I can wear. It's not illegal. It will be illegal. So they don't allow me in Sweden to have a pistol, but they do allow me to carry armor that protects against pistol. Same thing, they don't allow me to have a knife in public, but they do allow me to have gloves that you can use to protect against knives. Second item for defense that can be useful. This is a knife protection sleeve. This protects you. Okay. Yeah, actually, I don't. When I do videos like this, it's like I don't feel like, oh, if people aren't writing a lot in the chat, I don't feel bad about that, because a lot of times I feel like, oh, it's almost like a hassle to go and check it while I'm doing other things and talking, to be like responding and see what people are writing. I don't mind people writing, but it's sometimes I'm not able to respond to them. So it's yeah, whatever. It's the point. This is a knife protection sleeve, and that's also legal in Sweden. So I can have the protective gloves against knives, and I can have the sleeves, and this is a knife protection sleeve. And this has steel wires going like this. You can see the lines. Inside of those little lines you see, they are going this direction. There's steel wires, stainless steel wires. And this will not protect against stabs. There's nothing perfect out there. It will cost a lot of money if you're going to buy something that will protect against stabs too. But this is pretty cheap. I bought these on Wish, and I think I bought 4 or 6 of them. And I'm not a very beefy guy, so the same type of, on my legs at least, I skip leg day every day. Here's the point.
the ones that fit on my arms, I can squeeze them onto my legs, and it becomes like a compression sleeve, kind of like athletes when they're jogging. Sometimes they have a compression sleeve that goes over their knee to protect the knee. So that's actually good, and they're a little bit too tight, like this size, that is okay for my arm, forearm. If I try to get this on my leg, it will be very tight, but I like that because it gives support for my knees if I'm jogging, for example. And I can use the same sleeves, so that's how I do sometimes when I go outside. I'll have it, but at very least, sometimes I'm in a rush, I just put on the left one. And my plan is to have this as the shield, the block. So if somebody does this, for example, I can do this, and it will catch this type of attack. And it's not gonna catch, stop a stab, because the lines are just going straight, vertically and horizontally if you do like this. So if a stab comes like this, or a slash, for example, I can't block like this. Something coming, a knife or a machete, somebody has a machete, and a lot of times when people take machetes, it will be from above like this, or from the side like this. People that have practiced like Filipino martial arts, something, they're more comfortable in attacking like low, and that's something that amateurs don't do a lot of the time. They like the low attacking from the below. Like a lot of the amateurs, if they pick up a machete and never practice martial arts with machete, what comes naturally a lot to humans is this type of motion, like an axe, swinging an axe at a tree, or something like that, like from the shoulder and attacking diagonally, or from straight above like this. That's how a lot of amateurs, quote unquote, will attack naturally. If you get a machete, like a practice machete, and you tell them start attacking me with that, what will manifest a lot of times is this, like from up here, or from here, and this. So you can use something like this. This one has a machete, and I have this on, to go like this. And I would rather catch the machete strike in my arm, like this, than have this hit my skull. Second split your skull, and that's an insta kill a lot of time. And there's no like 100% try to catch everything coming in, because you can still get hurt. And it might be, if you have a machete and it swung fast, even if you stop from penetration, it's still gonna deliver energy to your arm. So you could break some bone in my hand. Here, for example, we had this bone go down here. It can still hurt, and it can still cause blunt force trauma. You know, you're being attacked with a sharp object, it will transfer into blunt force trauma. So it's not like, yeah, just do this and you're 100% safe, you're not gonna get hurt. It's no, there's nothing like that. Same thing if you have a guard up. They don't tell you in boxing, if you have a guard up, 100% you're not gonna get hurt. It's less chance you'll get knocked out if you have your hands up. And you can't even get knocked out if you have your hands like this. If somebody punches your hand, that force is still going through to your shin. So it's not like 100%, yeah, just do this and you're unknockable. That's not, yeah, so there's no like 100%, but it's better than, it's like you rather take something in your arm than in your head, in your skull. Protect your head. So yeah, some of what I've been talking about, things are good to have if you live in Sweden or the UK or somewhere else. They don't let you have a knife in public, they don't let you have a baton, they don't let you have a gun. Something that they will let you have in a lot of these places are protection items, like armor. Knife-proof gloves, for example, and knife-proof sleeves. That's something that you can have. And the way that I look at it, it depends on how motivated you are. If you have like a special interest in martial arts and armor and knives and things like this, as I do, it doesn't feel like, oh, I gotta, if I want to improve my chances, I have to wear body armor, and I have to get, I like that. It's like I'm happy to do that. Okay, even if I didn't have any concerns, I would be like, I like wearing armor. I like the way I feel wearing armor. I like that for me. So it's also does other things. Like I said, it has a protection sleeve, and in the Swedish winter, having this under my jacket makes my arms warmer. So it does many things for me. And also, if I pull it over my elbow, it has a little bit of a compression sleeve effect. So it makes you less likely to get injured if you move your body around. Like I mentioned, the same thing with the knee. When I wear these on my knees, same size, pull them on. A lot of times I pull them up over my knee. So there'd be a small gap, like my ankle, that's uncovered, and I prioritize covering the knee. And with the knee, with these on, you can block things like machete swings by doing the Wing Chun, whatever it's called, crane type defense. I don't know what they call, but I know in Wing Chun they have a move that's kind of like this. They lift one of the legs, kind of like this, and then they attack you. It might be called the crane or something. And I'm not a Wing Chun expert, but I thought about that. Um, there's actually a video that I looked at. Nick Diaz training with, what is it called, Richard Perez, his boxing coach, before a fight, and they're doing the pre-fight like boxing workout. And Richard Perez is a boxing coach, and in the middle of practicing with Nick Diaz, he does this weird stance before he attacks, and he goes like this, and then he starts throwing punches. So yeah, there's things that you might not be the go-to, but it's something that can be useful. But here's the point. If I have the things on my legs, I can use my legs to block too. And that comes naturally. If I feel like a kick is coming, I might want to do this. And if it's something short, like a knife, that's a little bit already my reflexes. That my brain knows that this is something we can use to protect ourselves against things coming in. And if that's something short or a kick, it's the same thing. Yeah, so that's a good thing you can have. And of course, body armor might be a little bit overkill. Like for if you're a woman or something, walk around with a chest carrier like this, a chest ring, a plate carrier, might not be something you want to do. But I do it, and I can tell you, I don't always do it. Sometimes I wear my plate carrier going outside, sometimes I don't. And thanks, I appreciate that. It was my first attempt, so I had like the mindset that even if I suck, this will be my first video trying this. So even if it sucks, I'll upload the video. If I mess up real bad, I'll still upload it, and it's not. I can live with that. It could be our first attempt, and then if it sucks the first time, then I'm content with that. I didn't think I'll wait until I get it right and then upload it. Yeah, and that's one of the marks of tyrants. They want to disarm the population. Anytime people want to control you or do something bad, like when they're going to kill all the Jews, they made sure it was illegal for Jews to own firearms before they started rounding them up, putting them in camps. So that's always something that tyrants do. When people want to control the population to their own hurt and have like bad plans against the public, they always make sure that they're disarmed and in a position where they're less powerful, less able to defend themselves. Because it's easier to go round people up if you don't have to worry about ambushes. It's like you don't have to worry about people ambushing you with guns and stuff. There's even a quote about somebody who was reflecting on either the Soviet Union, like the purges, or it was the Jews, and he said, like in hindsight, what would happen if people, when the cops came to arrest people and pull them off to camps, if people would have been waiting for them in the stairwell armed with pokes, clubs, and knives and things like this. There's a quote about that. Like in hindsight, it's like this could have been stopped if people were just like, okay, when they come to arrest us, we'll be waiting for them. And it's better I'll take my chances on my feet rather than have them pull me off in chains to some place and God knows what they do to me. I'll take my chances on my feet. That type of mentality. In Sweden, there's a loophole, so you can own black powder firearms. You can legally own that. You can own black powder 6-shooters, like the old-time Western, even before that. Not rimfire cartridges, but Napoleonic era, buck and ball, whatever it's called. Like black powder, lead round ball firearms can legally be owned by civilians in Sweden without a license. Revolvers and like muskets. And things like this, as long as they're produced before a certain time, like a certain year, they count as antique collectors' firearms, and they don't go under the normal gun restriction laws. The thing is, they're expensive, so I might have to pay 20,000 crowns, $2,000 for a 38 caliber lead round ball revolver, and I might be able to in America buy a Glock 19 with like a 33 round mag and a red dot sidearm or something at the right place. So it's expensive, but it's something that you can do. Let's get back on topic. I'm gonna have to do some timestamps in this because it's 29 minutes. It's gonna be a little bit long, so I'm gonna put in some timestamps later on to certain points. At this talked about night protection. At this talked about whatever. All right. So something you can do, and even with firearms, the thing with firearms, they're not like 100% you're going to win if you have a firearm. They have something called in Swedish, not Swedish, in American police training, something I think is called the 21-foot rule or 18 feet or something like this. And they've done studies and seen that if somebody charges a police officer and they have a knife, a lot of time the cop will get injured. So just because he has a pistol doesn't mean that he's safe and will win every time. Like that's what they have. I think it's 20. I don't quote me that. It's in the middle of the night here. If it's 18 or 21 feet or something like this, they have like a training, like for training for being quickly drawing a firearm and shooting, because they realize that sometimes with knife attacks, somebody runs at a cop and they're on with a knife, they will succeed in killing the guy or hurting him really bad, even though he has a firearm in his belt, because it takes some time. And somebody's fast, and then you can find videos about this. If you search like the 21-foot or 18-foot rule, and then you might see that I got it wrong. Maybe it's like 60, 19 or 32, whatever. But search like the police 20-foot rule or something like this, and you can see them actually practicing this, where a guy will run at the cop with something, and his job is to get his firearm out, deploy his firearm, and neutralize this assailant before he can get in direct contact with him. So that doesn't mean that you're always safe. Like if you're outside walking late at night and you have a concealed carry, a firearm under your shirt, and you're walking, and then somebody has the initiative. Like let's say I was a bad guy, and I'm in a state where they have allowed to have firearms, and I'm in the store, for example, and I see a guy has even if he open carrying his gun in his belt like this. So he doesn't even have to lift his shirt and get it like deep carry out from some shoulder post or something. But like he has it right here, and all he has to do is go like this. And maybe he carries it in a way where he needs to rack the slide first. Some people, like on a Glock, you don't really need to have that because you have a trigger safety on the Glock, so you can cock it and have it in the holster ready to go. And all you gotta do is pull it out and pull the trigger, and the safety is the trigger. Like the Glocks have this patented safety type thing, a little thing that goes out from the trigger, so it protects against accidental discharge. So even if you're not intending to pull the trigger, it's less likely that it will discharge accidentally. But even in a situation like that, if I'm in the store and I see somebody standing in line and he's got a pistol on, I have the initiative. If I have a knife on me, I can pull out the knife, hide it, and I can walk up to the guy and stab him. And he's not expecting the attack to come. I have the initiative. The bad guy has the initiative. The guy who decides to kill you has the initiative, and you have to react to his action, because you have to react to his action, and it takes more time to react. Like, oh, this guy is about to, that you are reacting to his action. He takes the initiative. See, there's not a surefire way. And you can't be like, if you're in the store and you're carrying a gun, you can't be like, I think that guy's about to attack me, so I'm going to pull out my gun and maybe point at him because I think he might attack me. Yeah, it's like legally you can't do that. And in that situation, if he walks away and then attacks you, it's like, well, he attacked you because you had a weapon pointed to him, and then you'll be in trouble. See, it's like you may give him the justification for attacking you in a situation like that. Yeah, so to the point, I'm against like the giving people false senses of security. That's why I speak about this. It's like you have to be aware of dangers and not overestimate your ability to defend yourself and have false confidence, because that sets you up for failure in any field. If you have false confidence, if you think it's easy, 100%, nobody can do this to me, I'm safe, and you're not, that makes you worse and more likely to get hurt. So I'm against the false sense of security mentality in any field. So let's do this quick. We covered the protection stuff. Here's something you can have if you live in the UK or Sweden. They don't let you have a firearm. You can have a glass bottle like this, for example, and this is a dangerous weapon. And let's say you're in the store, if you have one of these with you, a glass bottle, and you can have that. I have a glass bottle and handle that when I'm outside, and it's not because I'm thinking I'm going to attack somebody. I'm not even thinking that it's a weapon. I'm carrying around a weapon necessarily. It's something that I like to do. I like to hydrate, stay hydrated. I sweat a lot outside. I wear a lot of clothes, so I need to hydrate. And plastic bottles leach toxic chemicals. So if I have a plastic bottle, water bottle, that's a health concern. And it can lower your testosterone depending on what type of plastic. If it's BPA-free plastic, that's better there are some special plastics that are marketed as being non-toxic. And the reason they do that is because there's been information about plastic bottles. If you walk around with water, plastic bottles, it's like sweating out toxins from the plastic into the water. So glass bottles are open to that. So I will have one of these, not because I think I'm going to attack or defend, but I have it with me, like a glass bottle with water. And that's a weapon right there. Like if I have this in my hand, that's a weapon. It's a very good weapon. For example, like this, I can be drinking, boom, and suddenly it's a weapon. I can hit him like this over the head. And it's very quick. It's very quick. And a lot of times you don't want to use this to stab with it. You want to break it over the person, like this in the reverse grip, for example. Hold like this, and then crack it over the skull. And what you want to aim for when using a bottle, you want to crack it against the cranium. You want to, and you don't want to, most of the time, you don't want to have it like some people do, like in movies. They will have a bottle, they will hit something with it to break it, and then they will have the blade, they will have it sharp. You don't want to do that. Typically, you want to break it on your opponent, on your enemy. So you don't break it first, because it could happen that you hit it and then you cut yourself when you do that. If the bottle breaks in a way where you cut yourself, like it breaks all the way down. Let's say I hit the side of the table with this. The bottle could crack and crack all the way down into this that I'm using as a handle. And now I just cut myself and I'm bleeding from my hand before the fight even begun. So you want to break it on his head, and then most likely that will create a cut. When it breaks against his skull, this becomes very sharp in many edges. So now you cut him, and even if I get cut inside of my hand, he's bleeding from his head, which is worse, a worse injury a lot of times. And you will lose blood rapidly if you cut across the forehead. So yeah, if you want to use a bottle as a bladed weapon, as a sharp weapon, something to cut with, a lot of times it's better to have it like this. And like classical boxers, well, you can't even see I have a bottle in certain light conditions. Classic, like go like this, protect your shins. And I can quickly go like this from here, or like this, like over here, and cut down. And if you cut down, a lot of times you break here and kind of drag over the face down, depending on how you do it. And yeah, for somebody who's not thought about this before practicing weapons, what you want to attack. If you have this a glass bottle used as a weapon, like I said, remember, you break it when you hit the person. You don't break it in the ground. Unless you have knife-proof gloves. If you have knife-proof gloves, like I talked about, it's safer to break the bottle before you start attacking with it. If you don't have gloves and you have your naked hands holding this glass bottle, it's glass all the way down here. It's just common sense. If I hit something here, it could break inside my grip. If I hit something to break it, it might break all the way down into the handle. And I cut my hand up real bad. And now I'm worse at it, I'm bleeding from my hand. If it breaks that way after hitting a guy in the head, at least he's bleeding from his head, if I succeed in delivering the attack. So he's bleeding from his head, which is worse a lot of times than bleeding from your palm. And it's like it's the trade-off. It's like what I'm paying to be able to deliver a cut over the head. It might be worth it. So yeah, but if you do have the knife-proof gloves, stab and cut-resistant gloves, then you might be able to. Then you can, if you need to, break it first, and that can also help people stay off from it. It's something that can keep you from attacking you. Like if you break a bottle and you hold this up, that can be enough to dissuade somebody from attacking you because there's some risk involved going after you, and that could be enough. But even holding a bottle like this can also be. Now it's more dissuading to have the sharpness, like the seeing the broken bottle, like more on a visceral, like instinct level. It's like holding something sharp and showing you ready to use this can be more of a dissuading, have more of a dissuading effect from attacking than holding an actual bottle. It doesn't look as dangerous. Even though it is dangerous, it doesn't look that dangerous. So yeah, something to think about. And you can use this, like I said, you want to aim a lot of times the top part of the head over the eyes. This is where you want to impact with the bottle. Over here. Here's the eyes. Think eye level, or you could think above the nose if you want something simple. Like above the nose. Imagine a line here at the nose or the eyes. You want to hit on the top part. That's a good place to hit with this. Like here. here, or if you're hitting from the top, here, like the scap, the top part of the cranium, or to the sides. Why? Because if you're intending to break the bottle, you want to hit something hard, and the skull is harder up here. There's a risk if you hit here, you're not hitting bone, you're hitting the skin. You have bone here, the jawbone, and you have this cheekbone here. If you impact here, you can break it. If you impact here, you might break it. If you're lucky, you might knock the person out. And but if you hit in the middle, like here, you might not break the bottle. Like hitting, if you hit here, or if you hit like the nose, you might not break the bottle because there's things that are absorbing the it's like the difference between hitting if you have gloves and you hit somebody and if you hit bare knuckle. Like it's more hard if you hit the bone. If you aim at an area that has the soft nose here, the lips, and like the in between the bones here, a bone here and a bone here. If you happen to hit here, that could keep the bottle from breaking. And same if you hit here. So good places to aim for is, like I said, imagine a line above the eyes. If you intend to break the bottle on the above the eyes, and if you attack from the front like this at the top, and then if you push through, a lot of times if you hit like that, it breaks up here, and then as you're pushing forward like this, you it breaks here. You're holding on to this sharp thing after it breaks as you hit him over the head up here, and now you're dragging it across the face, this newly sharp object. It wasn't sharp object first, but it's impacting here. It breaks, and you're continuing the motion, pushing into it. So you break it here, and then you're dragging the sharp thing across the face in the same motion. You can practice this. You can train this. I've trained this in knife fighting. I have a knife, then I hit like this, and I practice pushing into it. So if I connect in the forehead with a knife like this, I'm not just going straight down or back. I'm connecting and then pushing into it. So first I connect here at bone, and then pushing in, and it might become a stab. And you can also do it like this. It breaks, you cut down, and then you can practice turning it into a stab right after, because you're already there. You hit, boom, it breaks, it goes down. Even if you miss, the guy pulls back his head. That's also a normal human reflex action against attacks on the head. Even people that are not trained, like somebody who's trained in martial arts might be more huddle up and tuck the chin like this, but people that aren't trained, they still have this reflex. And a lot of times you'll be leaning back, which sets them up for a takedown. If somebody has wrestling reflexes, that's like an invitation to take you down. If somebody leans back like this, get your hands behind the knees and push forward, because you're unbalancing yourself. Yeah, so that's some useful advice that you might have thought about. You want to break it here, like the crown of the head here, from the side. Here you can break it, and like I said, if you hit here and you connect here, it breaks, and now you're cutting because the momentum is going this way. So it breaks here, and now it's cutting across the face right after. So you don't wanna. Yeah. So a lot of times that's better. You intend to break it on the skull, the top or the sides. Actually, like my hair. If you look at my hairline, that is where you want to hit with the bottle. Like if you look at my hair, like all the hair, what's covered with hair or spots, that's where you want to break it. Right on the sides, on the top, and not necessarily here. You can hit in the forehead too, on the side, but in general, the area that's covered by hair is a good spot to hit if you want to break the bottle. And I've already covered how it's superior a lot of times to intend to break the bottle on the skull rather than you realize you're in a fight, somebody has a knife or something, and you only have a bottle to go like break it at something and then be ready. Because like I said, there's a small chance that when you hit something that the glass bottle breaks all the way into your grip and you end up cutting yourself, and it could become like a pathetic weapon where it's just like a small little sharp thing going up around your head from your hand here, and you have this really small little thing, and they might not feel like that's a big threat to them if they have like a knife or something. So it's optimal a lot of times to break it on your opponent's head. Not somewhere on the body, you're unlikely to break it unless you hit an area like the elbow or the knee or the shin, but those are very specific in like tight spots. So it's hard to hit those on purpose if somebody's moving around to like hit specifically on the elbow with the glass bottle, you could break them in a place like that. But a lot of times it's unlikely, especially people wearing clothes. That's like padding, carving the bone. So yeah, that could be enough to keep the bottle from breaking. This is a good weapon to have. The bigger the bottle, the better in general. Up to this size. Now, if you have a super big bottle, that's not necessarily a good thing because it becomes unwieldy, holding this small thing and it's heavy at the end. So this is like the optimal size in my book for a bottle if you want to use it as a weapon. Around this size. Small ones can be effective too. And if you practice knife martial arts, that will transfer to fighting with a glass bottle very well. So even if you practice with knives, like, well, I can't carry a knife in public legally, so why practice it? It still transfers to fighting with other things, like chopsticks, for example. If you're at a restaurant, you have chopsticks, you can actually use chopsticks, and all that training you've been doing, attack with a knife, transfers to attacks with chopsticks. That might sound ridiculous to you, chopsticks. What if you're Chinese kung fu movie? You can hurt somebody with chopsticks. I have chopsticks, but I can demonstrate with plastic straws. If you have the reverse grip, same that you use practice with knives, the reverse grip like this, and you practice hitting like this different ways, that transfer that muscle memory to attack with chopsticks in this grip. That's something else you can use. And you can't stab with it. You can't stab this into the body, even if you're not sharp with the chopsticks. If you're strong, especially if somebody has a t-shirt or something, there are certain parts, if you have the physical power and the technique, that you can actually penetrate their body with these chopsticks. Like if you have some strength and or training, good technique, even if you're not being as strong, even if you're very small, not strong, if you have the speed, you can create power with this. And stab the certain parts of the body that you can penetrate with chopsticks. If you stab fast enough, you can penetrate certain parts of the body with a stab of chopsticks. And obviously, if you get it in the eyes, that can be a bad injury. If you hold it in like this, for example, and holding this, you can punch, of course, but you can also turn it into a stab towards the face. And if you miss, that's not a big deal. If you go for the eyes, if you attempt to poke this into the eyes and you miss, it's not a big deal. You return it back and you're ready again. And like I said, you can do everything you can do normally, you're only holding chopsticks. So yeah, that's something you can, that transfers, knife fighting practice transfers to that. Here's another thing you can do. If you have this glass bottle and you have a multi-use fabric bag, a plastic bag is going to break if you start generating high amounts of force. I just dropped the glass bottle into this, and this is a good weapon too. Now you can generate more force, so you can use the entire bottle, and you can hit them with this. See? And then it breaks over the head. So something as simple as that. Just dropping the glass bottle into a multi-use bag. This is not a plastic bag, this is a fabric bag, it's made from nylon or something. And likely if you hit somebody hard with that, it's going to break over the head, same thing. Only when it's sharp in here, it's going to cut through, so it's going to cut. So it's like blunt force trauma turning into sharp cutting. But this is also a good weapon. Having the plastic ball inside a bag like this, and you hit like that, you can hear it impacting. If that would be, and I'm taking it easy now because I'm not trying to break this, I'm trying to not break it because that would be dangerous. And I know approximately how much force I can use. And that's a soft thing, there's a soil in there, there's nothing hard. But if that would be a human skull, like my skull here, and the same amount of force, that might be enough if you would hit here to break it. It's likely to just that small amount of force, which is the type of force a woman could generate. Like your typical, more or less petite woman could generate the type of force holding a bag like this with a glass bottle to break it. You don't need a lot. It's hard on hard, and it will crack. And the way that I'm using it now is something that you could use yourself. I'm covering my face when I'm hitting. So it's a bit modified getting the guard up. As I was hitting, I do this. See, I'm covering my eyes, which is not always a good thing either because it takes away situational awareness. You don't see what's coming in. But in some situations, it can be good to cover your face like this. Let's show that again. Multi-use bag, glass bottle in there. Hit the head. You can do this. I'll get this on actually, just in case. I got a handsome face. I'm not intending to score it up unnecessarily. Yeah, so you see you can generate a lot of force. And this is a good way. You can hold it like this and you're in the ready state. If you walk around with this bag like this, you're in the ready state and you're not looking like a person who's about to attack. So if you're walking home at night, you're a woman, it's late at night, you have a multi-use bag and you have one extra bag. If you have other bags and you're shopping, you're walking home late at night and you have these other grocery bags, you've been shopping. Let's say you buy a bottle, this could be filled too. It doesn't have to be empty. It could be like you actually buy a glass bottle of orange juice or milk or whatever you can find in a glass bottle. It can be full, okay? It will be a little bit heavier and then you might want a smaller bottle. But you can put it in here and as you're walking home you have it ready here. And you're not looking suspicious. You're a person walking home and you have grocery bags in one hand and you have this in the other hand. And you are ready to attack from here with lethal force. Just like this. I'm walking home, there's something happening. I'm ready to use that as a weapon. Just from this position, I'm already kind of charged up from here to deliver force. Like this is the hand in this posture is something that you will use in a lot of martial arts disciplines. Anything from punches to fighting with a baton, a stick, like baton fighting. A lot of times it will be this, and the baton goes back here, and then you generate force from the shoulder. So this is a good ready state if you're walking home, and you're not looking like a person. Yeah, I mean, if you're walking like this, but if you're walking, it's late at night, you're crossing, so you're on the way home from the grocery store, and you feel unsafe or something, you can just walk around like this, and you're not looking like a person who's looking for trouble or is paranoid. You just walk like this, and then quickly you can turn into that. And obviously you can do other things too, you don't have to hit, but this is a good angle to attack from here. See, it's the diagonal from the shoulder. Like this, you can quickly turn into that. And like I said, in general, aim for the top part of the head. If you hit the nose or maybe on the chin, this is not as hard. Up here, it's harder. It's easier to break glass up here on the side or on the top than it is to here. It's not reliable to break the bottle hitting the bottom part of the face, like from the nose. Now these bones here are pretty hard and similar to the skull in that they're close under the skin. But it's a small area to hit. The orbital bone, you can also aim for hitting like here if you want to. But in general, I would advise you to aim for the skull. Because it's if somebody turns their head, something like this, it's still, someone looks to the side, it's still hard here. So even if they move their head and you're aiming to hit them, I want to hit it right here. If they move their head, you're still hitting the skull. But if you aim in a certain part of the face and you move like this, you're hitting the nose instead, or the ear, which is like padding. And if you hit the ear, you might not break the bottle because it's padding there. See, the ear is softer, the nose is softer, the mouth. So in general, aim for the top of the head. And also, you can use this. This is from the side, like this. See if I can show you better. Like this. It's this angle. It's not dropping down and hitting from the side, which is something a lot of people do. If they're like a handbag or something, maybe hit it like this. But that's not the best angle because that's easy to block first of all. So if you come like this, that can be quite easy to block like this, and also moving away. But if you hit, so you don't want to hit like this in general. Why? Because you like to hit triceps muscle or something soft or the jacket, whatever they're wearing, you're not likely to break it if you think about using this glass bottle. So it's better if you don't want to really do this a lot of time. You want to hit from the shoulder here in a diagonal line or in a straight line down, hitting from the top of the head. This is also good. So it's either this is good, or this, like straight down. See? And from here you can do both, so you can be unpredictable. If you hold like this, you don't know where I'm going to attack it. I could do this straight, or it could come from this side. See? So those are the two main attack angles using this. Here or here. That's something you can do. And it's very quick. You can walk around like this, and especially you can generate a lot of force. Quick tip. Like if you're static like this, hitting like this, you create a lot of force. It doesn't look like that, I'm slowing it down, so I'm not going to risk this breaking and flying out or something. You don't need a lot of force. But something you can do is you turn your shoulder into it, create rotation up here, you get even more power. So you don't have to be physically powerful to generate power. So from here, if you hit like this, I'm turning my body into it. It makes it more powerful. Or like this, here's the thread. And I'm turning my body, so I'm not just using my arm to generate the power, I'm also turning my body like this. Turning my body into like this. The rotation, that adds to the power of this. So this is something that is useful for women and total individuals. If you are a total individual, for example, you're always outnumbered by bully cowards. So if you're outside walking and they're going to attack you, they're going to be 2, 3, 4, or whatever. They're going to have numerical superiority to mess with you. And then it's not a fair fight anymore. So I'm not like a coward. I'm not a guy who would attack somebody with a glass bottle if they're my body size and they like challenge me to a fight. Hey, let's fight. And then I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna hit you with a glass bottle. But if I'm outside walking and there's like 3 dudes jumping me, I don't know if they have weapons, and they're not fighting fair. Then I'm not gonna hold myself to being like a guy in the 1300s, an Englishman, and I'm gonna challenge them to duel and fight fair and give them quarter because they're not giving me quarter. See? It's like the equalizer. They're equalizing it. Same thing if you're a woman. If a man attacks you, they are not fighting fair with you. They have the physical advantage over you. That's why they don't let men and women compete against each other in the UFC, because it's unfair. It's just like it's unfair if somebody has higher testosterone because they're on roids. You're giving them more speed, power. So since they're not fighting fair with you, this is not being dirty or a coward. If you're a woman and one guy, if somebody like me attacks a woman, I'm not fighting fair. I'm looking to attack somebody who is at a disadvantage. So it's not unfair for you if you use something like this to hit them back with, because they're not fighting fair with you. Anyway, I'm not checking the chat. I wouldn't be surprised if there had been some trolls in here saying that everything I've been doing sucks, and you couldn't hurt somebody if you wanted to. I've had all kinds of haters. They like to do it when I do martial arts related content. So I wouldn't be surprised if I would check the comments. You suck, whatever. I don't care. You can leave your hated comments. That helps the algorithm anyway. So yeah, remember what I said. So to recap, it's a very effective weapon. You can put a glass bottle in a multi-use bag, like a cloth bag. This is some kind of synthetic material, but not a plastic bag, because that's going to break if you generate force. If you have like a normal plastic bag and you swing it, if you generate enough force to break the bottle, you're likely to have the bottle fly out of the plastic. It's going to break it with the inertia power of doing this, and it's going to go flying. So you're doing like a slingshot type thing, and they might hit somebody you not want to hit, then you lose your weapon. If you have like a plastic bag and you do this, don't be surprised if it breaks through the bottle, goes flying from over there and breaks, and now you hang on to a plastic bag, which is not going to do anything. You might tickle the guy with it. So yeah, that's a good weapon. Like I said, this is the ready state. Hold it like this, and you can have it like this, and you're ready to attack. As you can see. And normally I would swing like this, I would be quicker to return. But now I'm having to do things another way to keep myself safe. Like this, for example, it might not always be optimal to cover like this, because I'm obstructing my vision. I can't see what the other person is doing. But now, since I'm practicing, I don't want to get cut if something happens. So what I cover, I use this. I cover my face like this. Ready, stay like this, and hit it from here, like the diagonal, aim for the top part of the skull. Or, like I said, those are the main two attack, like the techniques using this weapon. Is this diagonal, like this, aiming for here, or it's this, and it's straight from the top, and hitting towards here, and it will hurt. You might even be able to knock somebody out if the bottle doesn't break. If you would hit the certain parts of the bottle, if it hits with this part, it's just like to break, because this is the strongest point of the whole bottle. If it hits like this, it's not 100% sure it will break. There's a chance that you will hit and you will knock the person out. If you would hit them with this, even if it doesn't break, you can still hurt them. So that's one good self-defense, do-it-yourself weapon, which is something that is super dangerous if you know how to use it. Very dangerous, and of course equalizer too. Like if you're being attacked by 2-3 people and you have this, you have a weapon. It's a good weapon that you might have thought about. This simple thing, drop a bottle in a bag like this, and you have a very formidable weapon. What else? Anything heavy, you can use that as a weapon. Anything heavy, anything hard, or heavy, you can use that as a weapon. But pretty much anything you can hold in it, and then also the typical things like this. You can use keys to attack somebody. And same thing with the knife fighting training that we talked about. If you practice knife fighting, you can use the reverse grip. You have the muscle memory for using this. And this is something I can use to break a skull with. But normally if I hammer fist somebody from this angle up here, it's not going to break their skull. I'm not that powerful. Few people are. You know, like a UFC professional, they don't like to break somebody's skull, hammer fisting them with this part of the fist to the skull. But if you have something as simple as something hard, like steel like this, then you hit somebody to the side of the head, especially the temple or something, you can actually kill somebody like that. And I'm not saying it's 100% surefire, but it's not impossible. You can hurt them pretty bad, something like this. And you don't want to do like go for pressure points, like, oh, well, I think it hurts if you dig it in here. Now somebody's got adrenaline going. You don't look for doing things that make them feel uncomfortable. You're not a police officer, use like pain compliance techniques to get somebody under control. It's about incapacitating, causing a lot of injury, a lot of damage to a person. Knock them out or make them bleed a lot, that type of thing. So healing to the head, again, the skull is the same dynamics. Anything hard, this can be a good weapon. And just to demonstrate, this wood board here. I have this in this grip, and I can hit that pretty hard. And as you can see, if that would be to somebody's temple or skull, it's not entirely unlikely, depending on your physical shape, that you can break bone with this. And this will be the reverse knife fighting grip. And that, what I've been practicing with the knife fighting, using a knife like this, that transfers to holding anything hard in my hand and attacking with it. See, even a flashlight. So this, you can use this too. And it's creating indentations there, and I don't feel like I'm losing the grip. With the gloves especially. Maybe if I didn't have the gloves and my palms are sweating up a little bit because I'm moving around, maybe then I will lose the grip and it will push back into the palm, and then you're losing some power transfer. You're not transferring as much power because it's sliding in. You want to have it break so that it doesn't have give. If it has give, you will lessen the power of the impact. And you can use some keys. See if I have my flashlight. Here I have my flashlight. Here's something else you can use. A useful self-defense item is a flashlight. Now this is a small one, but the best flashlight you have with you, or the weapon, the best weapon or flashlight is the one that you have with you. Not the big flashlight you have at home. This might be better to use as a weapon, but you end up not bringing it with you because it's too heavy and bulky and whatever. So the best flashlight and the best weapon that you can have is the one that you actually have with you on your person. So a flashlight like this can also be a weapon. A very good weapon. In more ways than one. One, because you can blind somebody with it. Take away their eyesight. It's hard to attack something you can't see if you're blinded. So this is something that has that use. You can blind people with it. And then you can attack with it. And it's the same thing as the knife fighting thing. Like hitting something, it's poking out here, and you can hit with it. To bone, with the head, for example. You can hit with this from many angles. This angle, it might look weird, but it's not like punching with the knuckles. Here is the thing that I'm attacking with. This is airplane aluminum, and this flashlight has like little teeth on it, like here, which is like to create cuts. Not only is it concentrating force to one little area, like one of these teeth, which is more likely you will break the bone, but it will also create cuts reliably. Even elbows to the forehead are likely to create cuts when they hit to connect with the skin, and you can bleed a lot, which is not something you want to do if you want to be good at fighting. If you're bleeding from your forehead, it makes it hard to see things, take away a lot of your vision. So if you can create bleeding in the face, that can be advantageous. And like I said, this flashlight is a small one. It would be better if it was a little bit bigger. But even something small as this, first of all, I'm holding something in my hand. I'm less likely to break my fingers or to break my hand. And I get a little bit more power holding this. I have quite big hands, heavy hands, but if you have a smaller hand and it's a light little hand, you're not very good at moving it. If you're holding something hard and heavy in your hand, that adds to the impact once you connect. Or if you hit something. And you're holding this, it can give you a little bit more harder punch. And yeah, But like I said, it's a weapon, so you intend to use it more like this, toward the temple, or the forehead, or the skull, and hit. You can hit like this, like the same point, like this. Hit like this to the forehead, for example, and anywhere on the face. I wouldn't like this. Somebody has this, and anywhere they get me in the face, I'm not going to like that. I'm going to be bleeding, no matter where in my face this connects with. You can see the teeth there. It's going to create a cut. It's going to create bleeding, and especially if you hit the forehead. That is something I recommend if you fight with a knife. One of the good places to hit is across the forehead. If you can create a gash, a diagonal gash, there's going to be like a curtain of blood very quickly flowing down the face, which will make it hard for the person to see. I've had an injury before. I got a rebar thing hit me here, above my eye. No, here. I had a rebar, like a bar of rebar, that steel thing hit me here, and I started bleeding, and that blinded me on one side of my face. Like it went into my eyes, and it's not like pepper spray in the sense that it's not painful, but it blinded me on one side of my face. And you're not as good at fighting if you only have one eye. Now there are exceptions, like professional fighters like Michael Bisping had a glass eye and he fought, but it's you would rather have both eyes than one eye if you're going to be effective at fighting, because depth perception, for example, if you have only one eye, it interferes with depth perception, so it's harder to gauge distance if you only have one eye, and also it takes away situational awareness. So if I'm fighting multiple people, which a lot of times that will happen, if you're totally individual or you're attacked, a lot of times there will be more than one person, and it's not as much as you're fighting and you're like fighting one person in the same direction all the time, but there could be threats coming from around you, and you want to have your peripheral vision. So if you only have one eye, one thing it does to make it worse at fighting, less of a threat, is you have less peripheral vision. So somebody could be right here, one of this guy's buddies. If I'm bleeding from one eye, I'm not seeing him here. He could swing something at me here. I'm not seeing this. Right now I'm closing my eye, I'm not seeing it. So all the way over here, I'm not seeing this. Anything here, I'm not seeing it when I have my right eye closed here. Even this, like right here, I'm not seeing it. But if I have my right eye, I can see it. So if you want to make something less dangerous, less of a threat, if you can take away one of the eyes, that's doing something. So you want to think about what you're actually causing with your attacks. You don't want to be like just hit anywhere in the body, because what are you actually accomplishing? If I will hit somebody with this in the arm, what is that going to do? It might piss the person off, but it's unlikely to incapacitate the arm. They can still use the arm to fight. And it's what are you accomplishing with your attacks? You got to think, be purposed with your attacks. Like you're attacking the head, you're trying to knock them out or break bone or create bleeding. It's not like just hit somebody to hit them. Like what are you intending to accomplish with this type of attack? Like target zones. So let's go back to the bottle. Well, let's show you some of the like attack ways. Which looks like this, the flashlight. And this is something you might not even see. Like if you have this, it's not making it worse at punching. Like holding this small thing, I can still punch as normally. I can do elbows, I can do everything I can normally do. This is not interfering with that. It's just making my hand a little bit heavier. And mixing in that, I can still do the normal fire with my hands, elbows, whatever, but I can also hit ways that wouldn't be that effective if I didn't have a flashlight. Like I wouldn't choose to hit somebody like this from the side, for example, aiming for the temple or the side of the face, hitting like this, like hand fisting. It can be if you're on the ground and you're wrestling with somebody at a certain point in time. It can be useful to start like hammer fisting, and if they have their face like this, you have them like this, maybe on top and on the side, or if you have them like a grip on them and you have a right arm free. Sometimes you might not want to hit like this, especially if it's on asphalt, for example, and you're moving around. If this guy moves his head and I'm punching down with my knuckles and he rolls his head out of the way, I just punch like full power with my knuckles into the concrete, and that's likely to break my hand and hurt me a lot. So in some cases it can be useful to like hammer fist. I'll take less damage hitting something hard with a hammer fist than I can hit this harder with a hammer fist, this hard board, without injuring my hand. If I hit with my knuckles, I'm likely to hurt myself. But with this side of my hand, I can hit pretty hard and I'm not breaking the thing. So Yeah, that's a way to attack with a flashlight. Hammer fist. You can hit like this, towards the face, forward, sides of the head, like this, attack with this, from the side, and then it'll be like this, impacting like this. You can create like a snap to it. But even if you're not training like this, you can still hurt somebody. Like just hitting somebody from the sides, like this, any side. This is what you tackle, like this, like straight. You can hit like this. You go to the left and hit like this. See, like this. Go like this. I just showing the simple movements, like this. One way to attack, like this, or like this. Drop down the hand and hit like this. You can picture somebody standing like this in front of me, and I'll be hitting towards the head like this, for example, like this, or from the side, like this. So that's a flashlight is a good self-defense tool. And if you have it lit, like I said, you can blind them like this, and then suddenly you can hit like this. Alright, I think that's gonna be it for now. Maybe I'll do a take two. If somebody has questions, they can feel free to write questions on their video. And is there anything else? Oh yeah, armor. If you're dealing with people that have weapons, a stick, a baton, a knife, or whatever, you can use something like a backpack as a shield. That can be used for knowledge too. If you have a backpack on, you can use the backpack as a shield, especially if you have a coat in here. This is something else you might not have thought about. You can use in combat. Here's a shirt. Here's my Adidas backpack, small one. If I put a coat or a shirt in here and close it, and none of this is something that the cops could give me trouble for. Well, you are walking around with a backpack with a shirt in it. See what I'm saying? This is something they can't stop me from having. So I have this here, has a shirt in here. Now ultimately I have two shirts, so it fills it all the way up to the top, but this is better than nothing. And I hold like this. This is an effective shield. I can use this as a shield. If somebody's attacking with anything from like a skateboard to a baseball bat to a baton, like a security guard baton, collapsible baton, to even a knife, I can use this as a shield. And with a knife, if somebody's stabbing, it might not call, depending on what I pack it with, okay? If I have books in there, I can stop stabs. Even bullets, like depending on the thickness of the book, book can stop a 22 caliber, for example. So it depends what you fill it with. But even if all you do is have a backpack and you fill it with like a hoodie or something, or a coat, something here, now you have a shield. And you can use it, like I said, against somebody who's attacked who's armed with a baseball bat, a collapsible baton, anything. I can use even people who are throwing things at me. If I'm on the other side of the glass bottle and people are hurling stuff at me, whatever, this is an effective shield. Another thing you might have thought about, like in an urban defense scenario, if you have a backpack on it, that's just, you have a shield at your disposal. You just gotta pack with something. Like I said, if somebody has a baton, they attack me, I can use this to protect myself against batons, right? Where do I have my baton? Yeah, well, you get the idea. If this is the guy, this is his head, I have a stick, a baton, and I'm intending to hit him more heavily. If he has this here, he can use this as a shield. Lift this up. This is my attack on me. And I'm hitting the backpack to shield with his shirt or something instead of hitting his head. And you can use this against, like I said, you can use it against baseball bats, against collapsible batons, even knives, depending on the situation. Like a lot of times if somebody has a knife, you think you're faster than them, you can run away from them. And that might be the best defense. But if you don't have any option, then you can use this. You can use it as a shield. You can hold like this, cover your vitals. You can still punch over. Or if you have a glass bottle or whatever, you have a knife, a stick, whatever, you can cover your vitals like this. You can quickly turn it up to block like this. And you can go to the side, obviously. You can also use this to block kicks. Like if you need to, if a kick is coming in somewhere, you can use this as a pad. Like when people work with pads, punching pads, you can use this to soften the blow. So that's another thing you can use that you might not have thought about. So that's simple things that you can in any country carry around, and the cops can't give a shit for it. Like nobody, the cops can't arrest me for walking around with a glass bottle, and they can't arrest me for having a backpack. But I do have a weapon and a shield wherever I go that I can use, and they can't stop me from that. So if you're in a situation, if you're in the UK or in Sweden, you might not have thought about this. You might not have thought about this. You have some options. And I'm gonna minimize this now. And I see Isa Pakana was here too. Now what I did that I shouldn't have done, I saw when I took off my gloves I'm bleeding from my hand here. So I whacked that board a little bit too hard. Not for the sensitive. I did put in the title not for children, so I can't get a strike for this. But I opened up an old cut that I had on my knuckles. I practiced punching boards before, and I've cut my hand and I cut. And I open it up, not to gross you out, but I open up the cut here. This is not even bothering me, this is not painful. I can feel it's injured, but it's not. It looks worse than it is. So I open up a cut. And that was from when I should have thought better. Sometimes I get a little bit excited when I'm training, and I don't, the safety conscious aspect goes out. I'm not thinking about things like that. But when I whack the board, I open up a cut. So I'm gonna have to finish this now and take care of this wound. I could go on a little bit more, but I don't have any live viewers talking to me, so for the live aspect of interacting with the viewers, I don't need to do that right now. I might stay on a little bit longer, and if somebody comes in, maybe want to talk. Now I'm gonna pay attention to the chat. I haven't been checking the chat, so I see I had some people in here. Hello, Salamat. Sometimes, just in the future, if you watch a replay of this, and you feel like, well, this guy, he ignored me. I was writing in his chat, he didn't answer. I'm not ignoring you. Sometimes I will not be checking the chat, especially when I do sports or activity type live streams. When I'm doing something like over here, I'll show things, I'm practicing whatever I'm doing. Those type of live streams, I usually don't check the chat that often. Sometimes towards when I get ready to finish the live stream, like now, I was like, okay, I think I'm done. Then I start checking the chat. So yeah, in case you watch the replay one day, you know. Good morning, Chumami. Good morning. I've been doing self-defense. Some ideas for self-defense for women, target individuals, even men. Things that can be useful for people for self-defense if they live in a city, urban environment, live in a city, and especially in cities when you're not allowed to carry weapons like knives or something like this. Some useful ideas for self-defense. And I do truly believe that what I said in this video is valuable. Hello, I don't know what UM means, but hello. And I see we've had the chatbots in here. Somebody related to Phil Collins, possibly. People got weird names nowadays. They don't even use. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, elbow cough. I like elbows. Well, I wouldn't like receiving them, but I like some. I like coughing them too. Here, I'm doing some stuff. Alright. I'm doing some stuff too. That makes two of us. Just the two of us. That makes two of us. We're doing stuff. I'm doing stuff. Some stuff over here. You're doing some stuff over there. So you're in the Stuff Doer Club. Welcome. I'm the president of the Stuff Doers Club. And you have been accepted. Yeah, it's almost midnight. West Virginia. Blue Ridge Mountains. All I like to see. Take me home. Yeah, it's almost midnight. Now I might be restreaming this. This might not be live. See, I might be restreaming this. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so if you're watching live, I see I have one viewer. If you're squeamish and you're sensitive viewer, I'm gonna show something on my hand. I'm gonna show blood. So if you're sensitive, you can look away, turn off the live stream now. So this, I opened up a cut on my fingers. I wiped it off on my hand. I did something stupid. I will fess up to that. I did something stupid. Sometimes when I'm training, I forget to be as safety conscious as I am in my day-to-day life. Like if I walk around, like make sure there's nothing you can step on that you can hurt yourself, because I hurt myself. So I got normally in my day-to-day life, I'm a little bit more like safety minded. But once I get the adrenaline flowing and doing things like this, I start getting excited about things and I forget about. Well, you're not supposed to punch wood boards hard because you have a cut there and you might open it up again. But I did that today, so I sacrificed my blood for your viewing, for your good. I have shed blood for your benefit in this video, because I'm intending. I actually thought that. I didn't think, what can I do a video that's going to be popular? You actually thought, somebody told me on the live stream I was on, karaoke live stream, I'm going to add this to my playlist, collabs. I think I might have already done that. I was on a playlist, and the woman was kind to me. She said, Mike, he has some self-defense advice, and it sounded like she appreciated the fact that I gave some pointers once. She visited my live stream, and we talked about self-defense for people in places where you don't have guns. She lives in the UK, and she seems to have appreciated that I gave some pointers to her. And it was simple things like this: you can use that as a weapon, glass bottle, you can use this. And she mentioned that when I was on the live stream. She said something like, "Good." Sounded like she appreciated the advice she got. So I thought about that. Maybe there'd be something more. If one person thought that was valuable, okay, adding value to the role of guiding principle, then there's going to be more people who might think it's valuable. If one woman out there thought it was valuable, maybe there's 10 other women, if they found this site, they would think this was even more valuable. How can we expand on this? Can you go more in detail? Talk more about it, not just say, this is something you can use a flashlight, but actually show something, like a flashlight, you can use it like this, and things like this. So that's what I thought. So yeah, here's the point. Oh, before I forget, so I talked about before, another thing you can use is, don't worry, this is, I'm not going to get naked. It might look like I'm going to strip off. This is the belt I have. This is also a weapon. And this is small. It's small and it's hard. So it's not one of these belts that have a big, like, belt buckle or something. And a lot of the belts, if you swing them fast, depending on how they are, like the belt buckle, the metal part of it that you use to close it, you have to study it before you consider using it as a weapon, because some of these things can break off if you generate a lot of force like this. Some of those things it can break off, it can go flying, it can injure you or somebody around you that you're not intending to injure. So you have to study the construction of it and make sure that your particular belt can be used in this manner. So, but this one I know, and it looks like this. It has a strong metal thing here. It's not like a thin thing. It has a strong metal thing. It's attached to this. It has this steely end of it. So no matter which way I hit it, if I hit it with the end, it's going to be steel. And if you hit it with here, you're very likely to create a cut. Anything that's like going out a little bit is likely to create a cut if you connect with it. And this is something you could even knock somebody out with. This Swedish show, like similar to the Cops. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Yeah, Cops. And Tunnelbanan, subway. And they got a camera crew following like security guards and police when they're in the subway and people get drunk, and like it seems like it's kind of like Cops, same concept of the show, only it's in a certain place, the subway. And in one of the episodes, you can find this on YouTube, there's a security guard, one or two, and there's people that don't like the security guards. Kind of similar to how I don't like the police. But they seem to be liking them even less in the moment that this happened. So they had something like this, a belt. And one of the guy whacks the security guard. He's got a baton, and he's like circling. There's many people, and he's like shouting at him and like get away and stuff. And one of the guys has a belt, and he whacks him over the head with the belt. And this guy has a collapsed baton, and the guy gets knocked out, and he's on the ground in trouble. So this is it's not just like in theory. I think you could use this to hurt somebody. It's like I've seen actual evidence where an amateur hurting a professional. What is a security guard? It's a professional violence deliverer. Somebody whose job it is to use varying types and intensities of force against people. And an amateur, who's somebody who's like drunk in a week and get pissed, was able to neutralize the professional with something as simple as a belt or something heavy on. So yeah, that's one point I can go to if someone says, oh, that's silly, you just think you can hurt somebody with a little string or something. Okay, you want to volunteer? So let's do this. And like I said, don't try anything that I've done in this video at home. Okay, there is a chance that you could get hurt. So you can use it like this, generate force, this circular motion, and this could be a good ready state. Like let's say you're in some kind of combat situation, as many people. I can even circle like this. You can have it more or less, create a little bit of slack. You have the other part of it, run your left hand like this. And then you can have it like this, short. And if you train this like anything else, it's a weapon somebody can use this damager, and they might be very effective with it. But if you practice with things like this, you can get even more better. So you can do things with this that other people might not be able to do easily. So like always, practice is useful. But you don't have to practice different techniques and stuff to be able to be effective with the things that I showed you. It's pretty straightforward. Might be enough to see what I did and you remember that. So this, for example, you hold like this, and then from here I can extend it, and I'm going easy, so I won't drop it. But you can do it like this, and then extend it. See? I'll have to go down a little bit, like this. And then one thing you can do if you time it, you can let it go, and then it goes flying in the direction you swing it. You can also go like this. So I'm circling, and then I do this. I show you some motion. I go like this, and then just go wider, and then I get more range of it. So right now this is defensive. This is dissuading somebody from moving close to me. If they move into this, you're going to get hit, some part of the body. This is static defense. It's not static, it's a defense. This is a good starting point. And from here, I can quickly see that's increasing the range. The zombie right now is out of range. I can't touch them doing this. But if they move into me, they're going to get hit. And from here, I can quickly step into it and extend both the arm and take a step, and I quickly extend the range. And when I'm doing that, I'm also generating more force. So right now, there's not a lot of force in here. But if I do this, I quickly get a lot more force. See? Yeah, I'm not gonna go with that. I felt like doing an overhand and swinging it in, but I have a window there, and I really don't want to lose the grip of this, and it goes. And obviously, you don't have to use the circle technique for this. You don't have to. This is obviously not all you can do. An attack like this. You can also do like this, or like this, and now it's like you don't need the circle motion. You can have like this. And hit like this, and it's the same thing like I told about before. From the shoulder, that's a good ready position for a lot of weapons. Doesn't matter if it's a string or a knife or a baton or like this. You can hit like the diagonal, like I showed you before. Like from here, I can go straight down, or like this. Same thing as with the bottle or a stick. Either this or this, this or this, and you can put varying amounts of force in it. If you do more like one punching, if you only move like this, you can still generate force. And this, I'm only moving my arm. Or you can do it more like put more of your body into it. And same from the side, you can rotate your body for a little bit like this first, and then come like this. So this you can hurt with this. But if you want more power, if you go like this, and then rotate your body with it, or create like a swing, you can generate more force. But in general, this is quicker. This is quicker than like this. And you're also telegraphing. If you are fast, you can telegraph techniques in any martial art. If you are a lot faster, then even if you're telegraphing, and I start doing this, you know someone's gonna come from here, I'm charging up. But if I'm so fast, you're not going to be able to react to it. Even if I'm telegraphing so fast that you're not able to react to it. I go like this, and I do like this. If I do that fast enough, that only sped up like times 10, there's still not enough time. You just see something moving at blur of speed. My body begins to move a certain way, and suddenly the attack is there. So telegraphing is not always. I think keyboard warriors criticize me of my training, but you're telegraphing your punches. Yeah, okay. And I think that's gonna be it. We covered the bottle, we covered the using a string, and like I said, if you use it like this, from the side, from the top. Another thing with the string, you can use it to disarm opponents. If I have a knife, and I'm coming at with a knife, if you have that thing, you use like a lasso, if I hit you from above, if I miss your head, I go for your skull, that thing might go around my hand, wind around, and it can take some skill. Like even if you just don't intend it, just intend to hit the head. The guy has his hand like here, maybe a weapon here. It's gonna wind around, and if you pull it at the right moment, that's like an arm drag only using an object. You can get them off balance or something. Like increase the distance and catch it coming in with something. If you have this in one hand, and I can get this around the limb or the neck at the right moment, even if it's not like winding 3 turns around, if I catch it right, there's a certain moment it's going to go around, and if I pull on it, I can pull the guy into me, and you can like counter pull into an attack, whatever the attack is, if it's a knee or if it's something else. So that's something else you can do with that. And if somebody has a baton, collapse a baton or a knife, you can do disarms with this. Either if you hit the baton itself and pull, they might pull around the hand, or if you hit around the hand and it goes around. See what I'm saying? Look. See, it's winding around. And if I just stay there, it's going to unwind itself. If you pull at the right moment, the timing is important. Look, it's winding around 2 turns. If I would pull on that, when it's wound around 1.5 or 2 turns, it's going to pull. So you can use that for disarms. If I have a knife like this, or anything, and I hit like this, it goes around, like I just showed you, and then at the right moment pull, that you can do disarm like that. We have the Russian chatbots in here. And since I did something stupid, open up a cup. Now I'm used to being able to punch boards. I've been doing training like that for a long time to condition my nuts and stuff. So I'm used to being able to punch boards. So my brain is like, no, we can punch boards. My brain is like, we can punch boards. So when I think about, okay, let's hit this, it's not like, well, you're going to hurt yourself, because my brain is like used to being able to punch boards. Only I didn't think about the fact that I have a cut in between my knuckles that isn't fully healed, so I opened that up this time. Which is a little bit stupid, but it's coagulated already, so there's no cause for concern. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fix this. To another thing, since we're on the topic of this is something you want at home, if you haven't thought about that. And I would recommend you even bring this with you. It's not a bad idea. Something this small can be packed into any backpack. Now it's open, but it's really neat and small, this first aid kit. And it fits into anything like from a handbag to a small backpack. It's something good to have with you. And some of these things you might not be motivated to do them before you've had some bad experiences in life and gotten injured, and like, oh, I should have had, if I only would have had this. That's sometimes that you need that to start thinking like this. But this can be a good thing to have. And you want to have a medkit in your home. And I'm not joking, there's some people out there who don't. Okay? This can save your life. Having a medkit with you in your backpack, for example. And something small, this is a hard case one. Really small. Like a pocketbook. And this can save your life, somebody else's life. If you're somewhere, somebody gets hurt, or you get hurt, or somebody you care about, your friend, if you're out with someone, having something like this can be the difference between life and death. Something happens, you're outside, somebody gets into a fight, somebody gets cut or injured, bleeding, somebody, whatever, and somebody calls the ambulance, and it might take 5, 10, 15 minutes for the ambulance to get there, and something like this can be the difference between life and death, to get the person to not die as fast, depending on what type of injury, so that the ambulance can get there in time. In this, I have this. This is a paracord bracelet. I bought like a special one from China. It's a combo of a survival kit, like you can bring into the woods, a survival kit,
and a first aid kit. So this is like a paracord bracelet. It has this, a wire saw that you can use to, you have like rings, and you can get this behind a branch. So you can do this and cut things down. It came with that. What else do we have? We got some paracord. Something like this, like a rope. You can use that for a tourniquet. If you don't have a real tourniquet, in some cases you can stop bleeding or slow down bleeding with something like a rope or a string. Came with this fishing kit, like a very low level fishing kit. Like if you go into the woods, you get a stick and you can tie this to the end of it. You can fish. Alternate C, liposomal vitamin C sachet. It's an antitoxin. Vitamin C is a natural antitoxin. This can make the difference, in my view, between life and death. If you're out in the woods and you get stung by a venomous animal or bitten by a venomous animal, this can help you because vitamin C is an antitoxin, anti-venom. Broad spectrum, meaning it doesn't matter if it's a chemical toxin or an animal toxin, a so-called organic toxin. And it came with this. This is a carabiner with a compass. It's important, compasses are important, to have a good moral compass in life. Keep you safe and help you have direction in life. You need a compass, like the Bible. And I'm not intending to put that comment up, but it's emergency blanket. It came with all kinds of things. This I do recommend something that people. This is something that I do recommend to people. Now what I was gonna do was get a band-aid. You don't really need to on a small wound like this because it coagulated and there's no bleeding going on. The good thing about having a bandage is if you walk around touching things, and there's like if I put my hand in my pocket and I got bacteria in the pocket or something. I've been sweating through, let's say I've been sweating through my pants, there's some bacteria going from the sweat. And I put my hand in my pocket and I'm like rubbing this open wound into the dirt. Yeah, so it can be good to get a band-aid even on small wounds. To clean it up and get a band-aid, or it's just something to cover it if you're not getting dirt in there. I like cutter soft wipes. You can use these with a band-aid. So if you have a small injury, you can use a cutter soft wipe. Here's the coagulated blood. I can wipe this off like this, just clean it. These are good for a first aid kit. I recommend putting some cutter soft wipes. Or if they don't have them in America, maybe they have some other brand, like sterile swabs with isopropyl alcohol. So I'm rubbing this down, cleaning it. And now after I clean it, removing dirt, you can get another one, like this. Very good first aid. You can roll this up. I'm gonna tell you something else about this in a few minutes, another use these have. And now after I rub it off, if there's like dirt there, I'm kind of brushing that off with one cutter soft wipe. And then the next one, I'm rolling up into a ball into my fingers, and I can squeeze it, and it will drip alcohol on it. See? The lighting is such that it's reflecting a little bit too much. Just do it like this. Yeah, so I get this one and I drip it over. That's good first aid practice for small wounds. 2 cutter soft wipes. First one, open it. You can rub it. So sometimes you have wound or dirt, you have dirt or dust or sand, speck or something in the wound. It can be useful to brush it off one of them. Then you get a second one, open it, roll up into a ball between your thumb and this finger. Then you squeeze it, and then you get the liquid going into it. And then you can get the third one. And I don't know where I have my surgical tape right now. I don't want to rummage through that stuff. You can get this. So this is the third, like 3 cutter soft wipe. Small wound first aid, or whatever you want to call it, wound care. Not first aid, wound care. So this is the third one. I take like a diamond, put it like this over it, and I'm using this as a wound dressing. It's very bad lighting. It's like it's blinding. I'm gonna put this on here. There's the reason we have this. There you go. Get the filter on there. Now you can actually see better with less light because it's not blinding. So yeah, I put the third one. First cutter soft wipe, rub off the wound. Second one, squeeze on it. Third one, I place it over the small wound. And then if I have something like surgical tape, I can take that out, put surgical tape here, attachment point above it, over the finger, attach it here, and then this is the wound dressing. It's like a band-aid, it's like a tape with some kind of cloth on it. So if you have surgical tape, you can use that alongside cutting soft wipes for small wound care. Very good, and it does something more than band-aids does, because it actually kills bacteria, the cutting soft wipe. And it will evaporate quickly because it's 70% isopropyl alcohol. So if I leave it like this, it will dry out, especially if you have surgical tape and you have, it's not airtight. The surgical tape goes in the middle, so it will dry out because there's air on the sides. And that can be good. So this is a very useful item for first aid and survival kits. Something else I'll tell you. This can be used in a survival scenario for kindling, for making fire. This is like a must-have for your first aid kit. If I would recommend like 10 items, this would be one of them. For a first aid kit or like a survival, you're going camping or survival into the wilderness. Very good item. You can use it for first aid, you can use it for cleaning yourself, you can use it for cleaning objects like flashlights, you can use it for electronics care. Let's say you get a flashlight and you get water into electronics. Sometimes you can save electronics that have been absorbing moisture with rubbing alcohol. It will dry it out. You can put this on some electronics, it will help to dry it out if it's damp. Getting some, yeah, it has many uses. But what I'm going to now is, in a survival situation, if you don't have kindling, you can use these to create fire. Instead of having like shavings or wood or moss or toilet paper, one of these, if you get some sparks on there, like a fire steel, it's 70% isopropyl alcohol and it's fabric. It's like a cloth that's drenched in 70% isopropyl alcohol. So one of these can be enough to start a fire. Like you have something like this, open it, get a fire steel on there, or a lighter, just a second of it on there, you're gonna get some fire. It's not an explosion, but it's gonna burn and pretty strong, so you can use that as the first step for making a fire. Then you can get this under whatever you get. You prepped a little teepee hut or firewood, like the classical sticks together, small sticks like this, and you can get that under there and use it to line them. So that's a very useful item, something I recommend people to have in first aid kits, have it in your pocket when you go outside, have it in survival kits, things like this. Mainly used for cutting soft wipes. It's Jim Passion talk about it. It's a simple part, and I like it because it's so useful for so many different things, and it's cheap. I think one pack of these, there's 100 of them in there. This is unpaid. I'm not paid to say this to you. You get 100 of these cutting soft wipes in a pack like this, and they come like this, 2 of them attached to each other. So if you pull out one, you get 2 of them. Then you can open one if you only want one. So that would be 50 units with 2 on each. And I think they cost around $3 for a 100 pack in Sweden from the pharmacy. You can also order them online. You can find them cheaper, like sometimes 17 crowns would be like 1.7 bucks. But I think at the local pharmacy, I think they take 25 crowns or 30, which would be $2.5 or $3. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it. It's a pretty good video. I'm happy with it. Okay, so I'm gonna finish up. We have the Russian chatbots in here. This time I didn't block them, but and I'm not gonna go back and delete all of them now because there's been guys in some chatbots. Here's a general rule of thumb: if you see these type of comments on YouTube, do not try to type in the address in an address bar, because you may or may not get a virus or a Trojan horse or something, because it's like some kind of link. This, and I guess they're hoping you're gonna type that into your browser, and it might say like you have 500 viruses. Buy this whatever. I haven't tried, so I don't know the scam. If it's like a phishing ransomware or you get a virus, it starts downloading something, I don't know. But you don't want to type these type of comments in. And this is like a trend on YouTube. If you're live on your YouTube channel for more than 1 hour, you're likely to have at least one of these type of comments. Like for standard, it will be a anonymous account, like one of these color letter profile pictures, like A with a green background or an orange, or an E or whatever, S, whatever. And you'll be, a lot of times you look like Russian, like this Cyrillic. That's why I call them the Russian spam bots. And it's yeah, you see, this is why I call them Russian, because most of the time they're Cyrillic. And this looks like a porn site. This I'm gonna delete it. The most recent ones I can just delete them now. But I think there's some further up in the chat. I'm not gonna go check them now. So yeah, I hope you got some something out of this. I think that, yeah, I think I know you can get something out of this. There's been some useful things passed on, and some things you might have been able to figure out yourself. But sometimes it could be someone who points out something like, oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So take care of yourself out there. Going to do 30-second countdown, and I'm simulcasting to 3 different channels right now. Mike's Martial Arts, Mike Sahat 2, and the Mike Sahat channel I just got back from strike. I'm forming a union, so maybe I'll do strikes in the future. Since I'm being hit with strikes, maybe I'll form a union, and I'll go on a strike. Fight fire with fire. Okay. Let's do this. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you enjoy the free content I pay money to bring you on my YouTube channel. I'm not even monetized. You don't even have to watch ads, and I pay to bring you my videos. That's a fact. It's not. I'm not making it up. I pay for stream every month. If I didn't pay for it, I would have a limit, and I would have to conserve video time and stuff, and not upload all the time. But yeah, so I'm paying you to bring this content. It's a small thing you can do to help out if you appreciate my content. If you got something out of my videos, any of my videos, you can just click that like button. You can share it. Like, let's say you know somebody who's into self-defense or whatever, you could share this video with them. If I make another video talk about stress or anxiety, how you can improve that. If you got a friend who's told you they got stress and anxiety, it could help you share that video with them. So when I say like, share, subscribe, I don't mean I'm asking to share every video I do with everybody all the times. That would be weird, but it's like, yeah, you might know somebody who might benefit from something I have a video about on my channel, specific topic. And we'll do the 30-second countdown. I'm Tia Mike, Sharing Solutions. And we'll do a 30-second countdown. Alright, thank you. Take care of yourself out there, and stay safe. Don't keep the law. Okay? I'm not disclaimer. I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything illegal. This is for self-defense and protecting yourself against predatory people or people wanting to do evil things against you, like attacking you. So none of this is used for attacking people. This is for defending yourself. And here's the thing: if somebody attacks you and you defend yourself, you are attacking them, but your attack is a self-defense. Somebody starts throwing punches at you. What do you do when you start throwing punches back? You're attacking them, but even your attack is a defense. See? Okay, so that's gonna be the end of the video, and take care of yourself. See you. Got one.